Good morning, everyone, and welcome along to another episode of Come Hither with Heather. So, this week I would like to dive into what I would call the heart and soul of singing, something that I would say is a topic very close to my heart, which is singing with emotion. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if that's something that you might be interested in, feel free to stick around. Okay, so first of all, let's just hit it with, we talk about hitting notes in the right pitch, maintaining pitch, your range. We talk about lots of things like that. However, it's not just about that. Singing's not just about that. It's about connecting with your audience on an emotional level. You need to make them feel what you feel. There are some things we have to take into consideration when we are singing a song. It often really helps us, to be honest, if you're involved in the song selection in the first place. But also if you're able to relate to it. And that can be quite difficult, especially in younger singers where they might not have had a lot of life experience to be able to, be able to deliver the emotion that is appropriate for certain life experiences. But that doesn't mean we just don't. But singing a song that has emotion or is very heartfelt often is easier to do that if you can connect with those lyrics on a personal level. Okay, then it's easier for you to get that and convey that off to your audience. It's really important part of songs as well is actually interpreting those lyrics. Now, when I say that to some of my students, when I say like, okay, we need to look at understanding the story, we need to see what messages is the songwriter trying to get across here. How do we want our listener to feel? We want this to sound and be delivered with the right intention. We want it to be authentic. And that is all in how we interpret those lyrics. And, we all interpret lyrics differently. We all do. I remember one of the songs that crops up quite a lot, actually, to be honest. It's Adele's Make You Feel My Love. And there's I think it's a bridge in that song, and it has the storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. Now, I remember saying to a student years and years and years ago, have you, what do you think that means? And they were like, well, it's obviously stormy. They're out on the sea and it's stormy. And then they're on, is it a highway called regret? And I'm like, no, it's not as literal as that. Yes, some songwriters do write very literally, but some people use, analogies, metaphors to tell the story in a different way. So sometimes it's important to just look at your lyrics in black and white. I always say it's up to us as singers to bring those words to life, and the lyrics are in black and white. It's up to us to bring them into colour, and brighten them up. When you think about, like, for example, that Adele song, you have to look a little bit deeper into that. This is something we tackle at school when we look at interpretation. We do all interpret things differently. For me, what do I take from that? I'd say that, there are lots of emotions all over the place at this point in the song. This person's really, really wanting this person to be with them. And they're almost trying to convince them. And this person's saying, like, the storms are raging on the rolling sea and on the highway of regret. We all have things we regret. Life is a roller coaster, or it can be a highway or a motorway. And along the road, we all bump into things that we regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. So that could mean things are going to change. There's lots of change on the horizon. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I'm going to change. I'm going to do things differently. And when I see you, you're going to really notice that. You're going to notice a big change. This person's saying, I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. They're saying how much they're prepared to do to get this person back, and or they're just how much they're prepared to do for this person, end of. But they don't think this person possibly believes them. They may think of it as, from when I'm reading it, they're thinking of someone when they are writing this. They love this person dearly, but they've already maybe told that person that, but the person's not really convinced. Now, whether that's because of what's happened in the past, but this person's prepared to make changes. And, it's, again, if sung incorrectly, emotions don't come across. It's something that, if you sung Happy Birthday with a grumpy face and a really boring tone, it's not going to come across very happy, is it? But yeah, it's really important to understand the story and just take the time to take those lyrics, read them like a story, because it is a story to music. So just read them and see what you take from that. Now, what you take from that might not be from what we Jeannie sitting next to you might take it as. But it is really important to find a connection with the song yourself, understanding that story, and then look to bring it to life and get the intention correct. The intention basically means if you get it right, you sell it. I always used to say, if you don't know what you're selling, nobody's going to buy it. So you have to understand what you're singing, or people are not going to buy into the emotion and the detail in the song. Also, another good thing to do is often visualize, the emotions that you want to get across. And when you're connecting with a song's content, sometimes it's good to even think and visualize yourself in a music video for that. Where, what would that music video look like for you? I tested a song for this a few years back. It was, I think over the time it was about, it was a couple of years, over about a couple of years, but about 6 different people all wanted to sing the same song. And it was Michael Bublé's Feeling Good. And it was quite it was quite funny because some people had looked at it very literally in the sense of, birds flying high, how I feel. Some people were saying things like, well, I'm walking along the beach in the video, the sun is set and there's birds flying in the sky, I've got my flip-flops in my hand. And I'm thinking, oh, that's lovely, that's lovely. But then on the other hand, I had this other student who visualised this in a completely different way. And he said to me, oh no, I am in a Bond suit. I am on a speedboat that is booting it away from the dock or the harbour. And there is an old wooden building, big massive wooden building that bursts into flames, that explodes. As the camera pans away as I speed off in my speedboat. When it's at the part, especially with the big part coming on the music, and it was, and I'm feeling good, doo-dum, doo-dum. And it was so funny when when you actually think how many different ways you can take a song. And, some songs make you think of your granny, some songs will make you think of your pet or your mum or whatever. So what kind of things do we need to think about when, it's not just about the considerations we have to think about, looking at the things we can actually do. So we have to hear the word bandied around all the time. Oh, we need to add dynamics. And the amount of people that I say to, right, so we need to add dynamics. How are we going to do that? And this glazed look appears because people just don't know. They go, I don't know, I hear the word dynamics, it sounds great. And the other one is light and shade. Oh, we hear that one all the time. And that's another one where you're like, well, yeah, but what do you mean? So little things, yes, that we can do. We can pull parts back in a song. We can add volume. We can add crescendo, a bit of vibrato. We can release into that vibrato, or we can have onset vibrato where it's very strong and it drives the message across. It can add intensity. You don't want to start exactly the way you're going to finish it. You're taking the listener on a journey. So start gently and then come in and add emotion as you go. What you want to look in, if there are vulnerable parts of a song, you want to soften your tone off. There are really powerful ones where you want to be quite inspirational or make people really, really motivated and energized. Then yes, you need to pick it up a notch. We can also play around with our phrasing. I've just done a song recently with one of my younger students, which will be coming out on our page quite soon. And she's a fantastic singer. She's coming up on 14 and she is an absolutely amazing young singer. And she has so much potential. But she was singing a song that is quite a well-known song. It's an acoustic version of that song. But we've worked together. We've really, really looked at how she was going to make her own, and she really explores in it. And changing it up. So, there's various things like adding drama. You're wanting to look at adding vibrato. We talked about that earlier. That's when we don't want to just sing a straight tone. We want to add a bit of vibrato in there, which is good. And other things we can do. Just bring warmth and depth to it. Make it sound genuine. It's not stilted. Because I often, you could sing a line and I think, but do I believe you though? Do I believe you? Do you believe you? If you record yourself and you don't believe you, then why should anyone else believe you? There are things that, we want to add texture, working with your tone, straight tone going into breathy, a bit of vocal fry in there. You can add things in. Some nice elements of twang. I mean, these are all words to a lot of people. And, it's like, well, how do I do that? Well, get in touch and I'll show you how to do it. But there are lots of things that are within your own vocal tone. And they're what you want to bring to the table. It's not about you doing it exactly the same. Every song, has its different challenges. But it's when someone listens to that, are they buying into it? And it's as simple as reading a story to a child. You need to make it interesting or they will switch off completely. These are things that I think are really important. There's something that, if you are singing with emotion and you're on stage, that brings a whole new ballgame. So we've got to start looking at different things, which we'll maybe chat about on another podcast. But that's where we have to connect with the audience who are literally sitting right in front of you. So, first things first, walk before you can run and look at how you can explore with your tone and make the line sound different every time. And don't be afraid to make mistakes because that's how you learn. You learn through experience. And if you want to sing and pay attention to the detail, those are the things that when you look back at your song, you feel quite accomplished that I've achieved that, and you pay attention to all those little bits, But I want you to, remember that singing with emotion, it is a journey. It takes practice. Also a lot of self-discovery in there to truly connect with the song and then deliver a heartfelt performance. But we have to a certain degree, not be scared to feel vulnerable and learn to open up through music. Then, because you've been authentic, it will resonate with your audience and it will create the lasting impact that you are looking for. And they will love it. But it's not about the end product, it's about the journey. Remember, progress, not perfection. Okay, well, that's all for today. I hope you found some of these tips useful. If you have anything you would like me to discuss, please feel free to comment below and I will drop it into our schedule. Okay, if you have a lovely weekend, it's Sunday. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you next time. See you later.